Hi guys! I've decided to take you through the process of creating a model and publishing instructions for it. This is my first video with English commentary, so please bear with me. Once I'm getting started with a new LEGO project, I usually begin with taking a look at some reference images and start building with the front section. Like starting with a plate and then maybe add some slopes for the headlights and color them. Nah, just joking. I've already got a finished model we'll be taking a closer look at in this video. Once I've finished the model, I simply upload the IO file to Bricklink. By uploading the file to Bricklink, you can simply create a wanted list. This gives you a nice overview of which parts are needed and provides you with the option to buy the missing ones. I pick the parts I need from my stock and enter the amount I've already got into the wanted list on Bricklink. This allows me to simply buy the missing bricks. However, I always calculate some spare parts and buy more bricks than I need. Now that we've got a model and picked all the parts for it, let's start actually building our model. The model consists of a variety of different parts, about 1400 to be precise. This includes 8 custom ABS molded wheels from the Dutch company Habricks. The actual building process is pretty straightforward. I simply disassemble the digital model and place the real bricks according to it. To match the correct wheel size, the wheels are bigger than normal LEGO wheels, about 24mm measured without flange. After finishing the bogies with all details, they get attached to the underside of the loco. You can clearly see the gears of the gearbox inside the bogies. Of course, we need something to power our model. In this case, I've picked 2 original LEGO L motors and the Buis 2.0 as power source. Once the motors are connected with some additional parts and the Buis is connected, we are ready for a quick function test. I just did a quick test setup with my secondary phone, and as it seems, both motors and gearbox are just working as intended. But does it actually drive? Seems okay to me. So first test passed. Since the electronics are done now, the next step was to build the roof to close up the loco. As you can clearly see, I've used some old dark grey parts to match some of the details of the prototype. Next step was to build the pantographs. To build the pantographs, I actually had to cut some LEGO flex tubes. You might think this would be an illegal building technique since you cut LEGOs, but LEGO itself requires you to cut those pieces in various sets. The following technique, however, isn't as legal as the last one. With some force and willpower, you can push minifig hands into flex tubes. It helps to widen the flex tube a bit. I'm using a pair of tweezers in this case, but something like a fork or screwdriver should do as well. After creating various of these parts, they get assembled to form the pantographs. The pantographs actually were the last parts. Let's have a quick overview of the model and then do a test run. I know it doesn't make much sense with the Intercity coach since this is a freight loco, but I simply wanted to test if it's able to pull and push something, and the Intercity coach was the only one I had around. So just power on the Buis and connect to the smartphone. Once a model that has entirely been designed digitally is finished, you will always find minor flaws that need to be fixed and things that simply can be done better. So let's get the logo back to the workshop and fix those things. Once all changes have been made to the digital model as well, it's time for the fun part, to start with the instructions. Creating instructions consists of two major parts. First, the model is separated into the individual steps. Once you're done with this, you need to design each page. This is what you can see me doing meanwhile as a time lapse of about 30 minutes. As you can maybe imagine, this is a pretty time-consuming process and requires quite a bit of concentration. Creating instructions for this complex model took about a day or two in total and is pretty exhausting. I usually can't keep more than an hour straight of doing instructions. Once the instructions are done, I need to do some additional steps like rendering and creating the cover image, writing the disclaimer, and creating the bill of materials. When all of this is done and included into the file, it's time to export it as final PDF file. To publish the file on OpenLGorge, I write a short blog entry with some additional information and tips, as well as uploading both the PDF and studio file. You can find both of these files on the very bottom of the page I'll link in the video description. That's it! And honestly, I'm quite happy with how the model turned out, especially in perspective to the short time of only 20 days it took from start to finish. I hope you guys got an overview on how complex it can be to publish instructions for a model and why creators should be respected and honored for this. I hope you guys liked the video and don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you decide to build a model for yourself.